Welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Episode 5, I'm pretty sure. Last episode, the most important event that happened, we got the collapse of the Danish team, and that was about it. We got some expansion, we got most of mainland Europe discovered, Britain. On today's episode, we're actually introducing 2 new mechanics. Not mechanics, but we're adding 2 new layers. We first have power rankings. Some of these are pretty obvious, like with the Empire being at 1. Might come to a shock with the Romans at 2, but that's because they're quite a populous nation. They have quite heavy good research and military, and yeah. A bit more detailed overview is the yellow is overall numbers, and red is military, and blue is scientific. Next, we have trade routes. This isn't gonna be playing too big of a role, I don't think. My general rule of thought with this was just generally connect up major cities, and that was about it. Maybe focus on more of capitals, but that's really about it. Formal and new capitals, like down here, old capitals of this team, of the lime team, and the purple team, all that stuff. Now, let's actually get into the scenario. So the first thing that's going to happen is going to be something that may come to a shock for some of y'all. We're going to have the unification between the Italian teams. Now, how this is going to work is this is very similar to how Britain is in our timeline. With, like, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland all being their separate countries and whatnot, but they're under one banner. Very similar situation to this. The Italians are also going to make a deal with the Lime team, the Lime Spaniards, where they're going to split Spain, the Iberian Peninsula, into 2. This is going to mainly follow that line from last time here at the beginning. I actually think that's a little more southern. But the basic thing is still there. Now Iberia has been split in 2. That's all that's going to be happening down here in the Western Mediterranean. Although there's some troops along the border of the green teams and ships. That's a little weird. But first, we're going to go to this team right here. The Swedish team. They're actually going to be exploring a lot of modern day Norway. Their population is kind of booming right now, so they're expanding their militaries and exploration and scouts quite heavily. They're also going to be expanding by quite a lot. Actually, no. They're also going to explore over here in Estonia. And over here, generally, in not the Balkans, the Baltics. I think. Exploring more of the Lithuanian and Latvian and Estonian area. Now, they're gonna be expanding a lot, and they're gonna be, well, expanding quite a lot. And their new territory is gonna look something like this. They take over a lot of, well, the sea, and they're becoming very Viking-y. Vikings. They're the Vikings, okay? They're the Vikings. So, the orange team is going to be on the move again, after colonizing a bit of England in the last episode, and also kind of causing the formation of this brown team. They're going to start colonizing up and down this coast, and they're going to wrap around Brittany and slowly move inland. Along with this, they're going to help explore England along with the brown team. Eventually, they discover all of modern day England and Wales. Nothing in Scotland yet. We'll get to that here in a second. The orange team is going to be taking quite a lot of land, but not this chunk. Why? The Dutch red team is actually going to be on the island. They made a deal with them they made a deal, and yeah, the Welsh team is going to colonize all of here and do all this. Now back to Scotland. The Swedish are actually going to be the first one to discover Scotland. Discovering these two peninsulas, along with these islands, and even these islands, and these islands. Eventually, they discover all of northern Scotland. Eventually, all of Scotland's gonna be colonized. Swedish are gonna immediately move onto this, taking over this part of Scotland and taking this part of Scotland along with these islands. They're gonna first take these, but eventually move in over here, and eventually they make an agreement to not colonize anything below that line. Besides these a little bit. I'm actually gonna extend the line down a little bit. Boom, there we go. That line. Kinda similar to what happened in Scotland in real life. Eventually, there's gonna be a new country on the Isles, the blue team. They're gonna be right here, and they're gonna be like this. The brown team is gonna take the rest of the brown team is gonna take the rest of the island and also begin to discover Ireland. The Swedish are gonna kind of violate the treaty that they made, but stating it never specified. It only specified this island, and this was before this was discovered. So they basically take all of Northern Ireland. They're being kind of very aggressive. Their empire stretches very much across all of Northern Europe. Go them, I guess. Eventually, before all of Ireland is discovered, and the brown team is also going to make a small landing. Small, I mean pretty big island. They kind of take all of this eastern part. Now, remember when I said down here there are troops on the border? Well, look at the purple team go. You're invading. There's a pretty decent gap between 9 and 2. And well, they're proving that they're stronger. And they take the capital. Not before they sent an invasion force out here and taking all this and this. And yeah, they just kind of whooped around. These guys did nothing. They just wanted this land. And well, before long they make peace. Yeah. It was a very short war, I know, but you got number 2 versus when you got the combination of 2 and 5 versus number 9, that's bound to happen. So the borders are gonna look something like this. And it's gonna look something like this. As you can see, they took a decent amount of land. They even most notably took their capitals. All 3 of them. They took a decent amount of land. Another thing that brand new thing, they set up a puppet government in the informal lime team and whatever team, this green team color. For capitals, the puppet capital is going to be right here. Lime team right here. This green team right here. And this team's right here. Purple team definitely now deserves the rank of 2. Not quite enough to be 1 yet, because, well, look at this big Bartha. What happened to the British colony over here? this still happens. I don't know where it went. It disappeared, I guess, but we'll just re-add it back in, I guess. No big deal, right? So boom. And a little more. And they explore all of Ireland. Well, they explore all of Ireland. So, yeah. Now, a lot of people in these countries like, we should expand, but we don't have the resources to expand. And the people are like, we should expand. And they're like, no, we can't. We don't have the money. And they're like, fine, we'll go do it ourselves. So they start a country right here along this coast and even up here to Brittany. It is well, it's a snake currently, but more and more people from all three of these countries, from the humiliation of them, either A, not being able to expand, or B, can't because, well, broke. Not as many people leave this dark country for the simple fact they do colonize something like this. So now we got France. We got Blue France, which I don't know how I feel about that, but we got Blue France, so good for it, I guess. Along with this nation, a lot of mountain people over here along this coast kind of break away. And they're gonna go form, not break away, but they just kind of like, we want to be mountain people. So, a set of twin countries is gonna form. This pink one, and this green one. That one's kind of big. I don't think I want it that big. And this one. Boom. They definitely have some stranger borders, but like, that kind of fills in that chunk quite nicely. These two nations are incredibly close, and that's why they're kind of called twin nations. Almost like these guys, but the hatred just isn't there. Realistically, they probably should be one country, but they kind of disagreed over some more important factors, and they're like, we'll just form our own countries. Like, yeah, no big deal. They're very friendly. Very, very, very. Now, the next thing we see is an economic alliance between the three French countries. They were very devastated at the end of the war, and so they need to, well, they need economic aid, and the best way they decided is come together and form their own. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, we are ending this current age of what if civilization started over. This age is known as the Age of Early Empires, and it's going to be ending soon. I won't tell you how it'll be ending, but after this age, we're going to go into more of a transitional period between this age and the medieval age. It's going to be a 4-part transitional age, 4 episodes, and each episode will focus on, well, a different thing, which I'm just trying to avoid spoilers here. But each episode's going to revolve around a country collapsing. That's all I'm going to say. The transitional period will be called the period of collapse. So you can expect a lot more nations to be on this map in like 6 episodes or something like that. Probably about double, to be completely frank. A lot of these countries, well, we'll get into that more when we get closer to that. The Empire's going to be annexing land up here. This land I just didn't like the border up there. It didn't look good, so I changed it. That's the only good excuse I have for it. But on the topic of the Empire, they are very democratic. Not democratic, but they're basically the Roman Empire of this universe. It's been about 100 years since they formed, and well, they're gonna be living for about 100 more, possibly. They're very democratic compared to the time, and they're setting some very important values that future countries, possibly in, like, I don't know, somewhere in the New World, possibly over here, more specifically over here, could take for future. Of course, we're nowhere close to that. We got at least 10 episodes before we get to that point. But, you know, it's going to be very important and for future countries. They're going to take example after this. The next event that's going to happen is this little guy. Yeah, remember this little guy? They're going to be expanding. We're not exploring, they're going to be exploring, and they're going to be exploring quite a lot. Remember, this country was formed by explorers, so naturally they would want to explore quite a lot. They discover all of Vietnam. They're number 10 technological wise, so they probably found some way to clear through this. They discovered these islands. And even start making their way down here into Indonesia, discovering the Singapore area, and I don't know what this island's called. In addition to this, they are also exploring up here into China. They are officially touching the Pacific Ocean. No country's touching it yet, but they're going to be over here. They explore further up into China, and well, they explore further up into China, and soonly enough, a group of people abandoned their route, and it's like, why do we have to listen to them? Like, let's just be nomads. And then, like, 10 people die as, like, due to starvation. It's like, okay, maybe let's not be nomads. And eventually, they form these people form a country over here. That's a lot of land to start off with. There's a lot of people in that group, and well, and there's a lot more people joining the group, and they rapidly expand. We have the first East Asian country, besides maybe the blue team. And this is also a great leap for the series, as we now actually have people over here in Asia. I think, coincidentally enough, this is the same episode that Adizz also did it. The blue team is going to explore, and there's a lot of people leaving. I wonder why, but they're going to be taking a lot of this. They're going to be going down here, and they're just going to be taking a lot of land. They require a populous nation, as you would expect being in this region. Yellow country is going to also expand. They're going to expand further into India, and into Central Asia, Pakistan region, and eventually they're going to actually meet up and forge a border with the blue team. They make a deal where they are going to divide India, something like this. It's a weird border, but like, it's interesting looking. We could see this maybe. No, they don't declare war. I'm just kind of modifying the border since it looked kind of ugly. Now, that country's kind of massive. That thing's probably gonna be breaking up. I didn't realize how big that country got. That country just exploded. They may explode in the next stage. That's kind of big. That's gonna be the end of this episode. I just don't really want to record anymore. That's really it. We saw a lot of new things get implemented. We saw the first East Asian country, the first country to board the Pacific as well. We saw a major war happen. We saw England being fully colonized. And well, the world is rapidly not getting much more territory left to expand. And eventually there's going to be a lot more wars to make this series more interesting. But, like, subscribe, you know the deal. Watch the original series by AdizzPro, and well, I just hope you have a great day. Goodbye.